started. Okay, so tonight is our kickoff call, very first call for our book club, and we are chatting about, like I said, one of my very favorite books, Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Rockin' Robbins. Guys, I seriously love Sarah Robbins. I have learned so much from her over the past few years. If you do not follow her on Facebook or follow her blog or listen to her podcast, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to. Personally, for me, I have read her book a couple of times, but I am constantly listening to her podcast over and over and over again. I have listened to her podcast. So if you don't subscribe to those and you're like me and you would rather listen to things rather than read them, you can get her whole series. I can't remember the exact name of it. But you can get her whole series. Yeah, I can't find it on YouTube. If you would rather listen, like if you would rather listen to the CDs and stuff. So, but either way, I do all of them, and I think it's done nothing but help me grow and help me learn. So, highly encourage you to do that. So if you have read the first chapter of this book, which hopefully you have, then you probably already can tell and already know where my excitement and my passion for her comes from. I'm not sure, maybe some of you have already skipped ahead, and if you have, that's awesome, because you probably couldn't contain yourself. So let's just dive in, and let's talk for a minute about Sarah. So she is the top income earner for Rodan & Fields. She doesn't talk about what her company is, but that is the company that she works for. She is for Rodan & Fields. She is their Celeste Gwen. Okay, top income earner. Her and her mother were, you could compare them to our Sheila Medina, our Coach Ronnie Cuevas. Sheila and Ronnie were our very first ambassadors.
Chris, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you mute everybody? There's like a lot of background noise.
Sorry, thought I did. Let me unmute you now. Unmute yourself, Val. Here, I'll do it. Okay. So, like I was saying, for those of you that don't know, Sheila Medina, Diamond Ambassador, Ronnie Cuevas, Coach, we call him Coach. They were our first ambassadors, as Sarah Robbins and her mother were to Rodan & Fields. Sarah and her mother are both seven-figure earners for that company. She was a teacher. She was young. She was broke, and she was shy. So, we can all relate to her probably on some level. So let's just get going. I'm going to be looking down at my book a bunch and making some references. So on page 12, second page on chapter 1, I love when Sarah says that because they were the first two ambassadors, her and her mother, I'm going to call them ambassadors. I'm not sure if that's what they call themselves, but because they were the very first two ambassadors, they did not have any training and they did not have any marketing materials. All they had was their belief in the opportunity and their belief in the products that they were offering and promoting. So for me, this is huge, and I can totally relate to this. And I know that Val can as well. We got involved in Plexus when we had no training. We had no marketing materials. I remember when I clicked join, and I was thinking to myself, like, I had worked in huge businesses as an accountant, and we always went through some sort of training process. We always went through some sort of orientation. And although I didn't expect them to be flying me out to Arizona for that, I was waiting for some training. And I quickly realized that was never going to happen. So I had to take it upon myself to dive in, and use that knowledge. All we had was the knowledge base. We had our back office, and we just had the knowledge base. We had no rank up roadmaps. We had no training tab. We had none of that. So we had our knowledge base, and we had Google, and we had the ingredients on the back of every bottle that we were going to research and figure out what those ingredients did. And we had some YouTube videos, but really not much. So that's something that I can totally relate to. And just like them, I knew that although I didn't have those things at my fingertips, I had incredible products that were making me feel so great within my first month, and a compensation plan that blew me away. So my belief was there. So that was one thing that I had. I also really, really love how she talks about her persistence and her commitment to personal and professional growth. Okay, this is huge. She talks about being a hope dealer and offering hope and freedom to those people who joined her team or became a customer of hers. Um, Obviously, as you know, we talk about the exact same things in our business, which is what most network marketing companies focus on. So let's move forward to page 13, failing forward. Lots of us are scared of the word failure. I know that I was, but failing forward is completely different, right? Basically, this is learning from your mistakes and just never quitting. So failing may sound like something that you don't want to do, but it is so important as long as you just keep going, because that is how we learn. The most important part, Sarah says, is that she did not quit, right? She did not quit. She fell forward, but she never quit, and she learned from every failure that she had. So in the beginning of this chapter, Sarah tells us that she was, like I said, she was a shy, young, broke teacher. She was shy, which I know lots of us can relate to. And here on page 13, she tells us about a super embarrassing moment, which if you have not had one yet, you will, but that is okay. She tells us how she was so embarrassed and she was so nervous about who she was talking to, and she felt like she was puking rhododendron fields all over this person. Her knees were shaking. She was seeing stars, and she had no clue what she was talking about. So I don't know about you guys, but like I can definitely relate to that. I can remember the first person. I was sitting in Panera, and I was kind of not purposely eavesdropping, but it's kind of to hear what people are talking about when they're sitting right next to you. And I was like, you got to do this. You got to just step out of that comfort zone. So I did. And I'd only been with the company for a couple of months, and I was so nervous. And I felt like, I did feel like, and I know Val and we were talking about this, I think recently, like you get so nervous that your ears start to like go fuzzy, and you hear like a ding in your ear, and then you sit down and you're like, what did I say? Did I really say that? Did I really say that?
It's like a big blur.
But obviously, I pushed past that and I kept going, and that is what is so important. So if you have gone through that, just know that you are not alone. Especially, it's really hard if you are a shy person and you're nervous to approach someone about the products or our business opportunity. You are not alone. So you've heard me say this, if you've been on calls with me or done other challenges with me, that I've chatted about progress over perfection, right? We do not need to be perfect in this business. I don't care if you're a double diamond. We always have something to learn. And what's important is that we're moving forward and we're making progress. Nobody is asking us to be perfect. No one in this world is perfect, and no one in our company is perfect. Tarl and Alec are not perfect, but we just keep moving forward, right? That's what's most important, is progress over perfection. It's kind of like what they say, like in Finding Nemo, right? Like just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. That's the most important part. One thing I want you guys all to know is that we all started, although I may have started with Val, we may have started with less at our fingertips, less tools to, help us educate ourselves than you guys have. Basically, we've all started with the same things, right? We've all started with the same compensation plan and the same products. So we all started with nothing, and we have the same resources. So we all have the same ability. Okay, you have the same ability as the diamonds in this company. So the important thing is just do not give up. So I want you guys right now, if you have not done this yet, now's your time to do it. I want you to think of a number and actually write this number down. Hopefully, you guys are taking notes or you have your phone or something like that. Write down a number, the number, your number, okay, that is your desire, right? What is your desire with Plexus as far as your income goes? Maybe it's $500 a month, maybe it's $1,000 a month, maybe it's $10,000 or $20,000 a month. Whatever that number is, go ahead and write it down and post it somewhere where you are going to see it, because that's your number. Okay. That's what's going to keep you going. That's your motivation. And that is the number that you are going to look at when you keep telling yourself that you're going to get there. It's just going to take step by step by step. Okay. You don't get there overnight. Hopefully we don't get disconnected here because I'm getting that your internet connection is unstable.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So the bad news is you're going to fail, right? We all fail. But the good news is that, you're going to be failing forward and you're going to keep your eye on the prize. You're going to keep your eye on that number that you just wrote down. At the top of page 14, Sarah talks about being committed, right? About how important being committed to this is. She says that I was committed. I was not going to give up until I surpassed my teaching income. For Sarah, that was her number. She needed $3,000 a month in case she lost her teaching job. So, wait, let me find my notes here. So when she was doing that, she thought, wow, she's very quickly, she realized that she was making $3,000 a month, but quickly she realized that she could surpass that income by building a team. She talks about how great the income her and her mom had just by having a customer base. So obviously in relation to us, that would be, and I have witnessed this with lots of ambassadors. They have like a $3,000 to $5,000 PV, which is fabulous if you have a balanced business and you have top earners on your team. But when you have a $3,000 to $5,000 PV a month business, that tells me that you should be building a team. You have huge potential to go further in this company. You should be flipping a lot of those customers into ambassadors, to either wholesale ambassadors or runners, right?
Yes.
So
I think a lot of people get stuck on that. I think they get stuck on that because they are afraid to get rid of the income that they have coming in as commission.
Right.
But if you think about it like this, I will use one ambassador that I have, for example. I could have continued to make $40 off of her every single month for the triplex that she was, or I turned her into an ambassador, and now I don't even want to tell you how much money she brings me every single month.
Yes.
So there's a huge difference. Yes. I think the fear of not having that extra money in your paycheck could pay off huge if the person is ready and willing to do this as a business. Even people who want to just go wholesale, the goal should be new customers, then into ambassadors, new customers, ambassadors. Mm-hmm. Just keep the rotation going.
if they qualify for ambassador pricing, then
Mhm.
if they've been a customer of yours for 6 months and they love these products and they have no intention of quitting and they're taking at least a triplex, they qualify to um, excuse me, they qualify for ambassador pricing, and you should be flipping them. But we'll talk about this a little bit in a few minutes. But those people I call connectors, right? You mean Val talks about her customer who she took a chance on giving up that $40 a month because she didn't really know what was going to happen. She didn't know that person was going to be one of her runners, one of her leaders. But even if that person wasn't, that person is a connector for her. She's going to connect Val to other people. So, you want to have all different types of people on your team, whether they're customers, wholesalers, or runners.
Yeah.
So when Sarah was talking about this, she talked about how it actually crossed her mind for her and her mom, like, we're not going to tell anyone about this. Like, this is amazing. We have to keep this to ourselves because they had all the customers, right? So why would they want to tell anyone else? Why would they want anyone who was not a customer yet to go to any other distributor? So they wanted to keep their income to themselves, quiet, like how much they were making. But they had a mind shift. Then they dove into the compensation plan and they realized where the real money in this business is. And the real money in this business, it comes from building a team. Okay, so if you're still not there yet, then you need to get with your sponsor. You need to get with your sponsor or your accountability partner. Hopefully you're still working with your accountability partner, and you need to do some research and dive into the compensation plan and realize understand how to make money in network marketing, but specifically in Plexus, because we have a compensation plan that is unlike any other out there. So when Sarah realized this and she shifted from customers to building a team, her paycheck, she says, went from a few $1,000s a month to more than $10,000 a month in just a few months. And that is completely realistic. I will tell you that is completely realistic. And that's when she starts talking to us about the power of prospecting. So moving into that, let me start by saying this to you. I'm going to come right out and say this, okay? If you are serious about being successful in this business, you are never going to stop prospecting. Never. You're never going to stop looking for new business partners. Okay? Number one, you never know what's going to happen. And number two, you learn that's how you continue to grow your business. So I will tell you all that what Sarah talks about, that it only takes a few power partners to change your life, is so, so true. I love how she uses the analogy. If someone told you there were three bricks of gold in your backyard, would you dig until you found them? And you better believe I would be digging in my backyard. I'd have a backhoe out there and I would be sifting through those piles of dirt looking for my 3 bricks of gold. So it's the same thing in network marketing. Okay. You're going to keep prospecting and you're going to keep, like she says, you're going to keep sifting, right? You're going to keep sifting through until you find your gold, or until you find your rock star, until you find your leader. And so that is your gold. Okay. That's your gold. You're going to be prospect. Your gold can be referred to as as prospecting can be referred to as looking for gold. So, like I said, you are going to sign. You're not going to sign everyone, right? You're not going to sign just to sign. People need to qualify in order to get wholesale prices, or people have to come to you and say, I want this business. And then you're going to sign them. But you're going to keep signing. For as long as you're committed to this business, it's not going to stop. But I will tell you firsthand, if you don't know this yet, I will tell you, Val will definitely tell you as well, all of the people that you sign and all of the people that you prospect and who join your team, they are not all going to be runners by any way, shape, or form. Okay. they're not all going to be rock stars that take you to the top. You have to talk to a lot of people. And she refers to this as sifting through gold. So you have to talk to and figure out who is going to be your gold, who is going to be your power partner and take it to the top with you. You have to figure that out. One point that she makes that I really, really like is that she says, and we know this, I know this, Val knows this, you all will come to learn this, that you cannot motivate the unmotivatable. People have to be willing to work, and they have to be willing to want it, right? So you just have to keep moving forward. If someone doesn't want it, you can't want it for them. You can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. You need them, you want them, you need customers, you need a balanced business, but you can't want people who join for the wholesale pricing. They may not want this, and you can't make them want that. So that's something that's why you just have to keep prospecting. But like I was saying, these people are going to be your connectors, because you never know who's going to connect you to that brick of gold. You really have no clue. So you may not sign a gold, but you may sign up a wholesale ambassador, like I said, who's going to connect you to a gold. Let's talk a little bit more about sifting. She talks about how she's been in this business for 5 years, and that she's talked to thousands of people since she started her business. She's talked to thousands of people since starting her business, and she has had more than 100 people sign underneath her. So she has 100 or more personally sponsored ambassadors. And out of those, she says she has about 30. Only about 30 of those 100 are still working. Sorry, I'm echoing. Still working the business at a moderate pace. And of those 30, she has 10 top leaders. So we would compare that to jewels. So she has 10 jewels. And only about 3 of those jewels really account for the majority of her pay. So that's huge, guys, right? Like, out of the 100 that she signed. And I'll tell you, this is completely true. So for me personally, in 4 years, I have signed 95 level 1s. I have personally sponsored, between myself and my husband, I have sponsored 95 people. And you all may be thinking, oh, why aren't you like Sarah Robbins? Why aren't you like, you're 5 people away? I wish. And it is huge, and I am proud of that. I always keep, I keep prospecting. I keep swimming. I keep signing 3 people a month on average, right? But I'll tell you, out of those 95, I have some purchasing for wholesale. I have some who unfortunately just collect a check and do nothing. And out of those 95, I have 36 active ambassadors about a month, who, like I said, some are just purchasing for wholesale, some are collecting checks and doing nothing. So out of those 36 active, I have 5 who are actively working the business. 2 of those 5 are working at a moderate pace, meaning they are senior, on their way to senior gold, close to senior gold, or above. I have 3 leaders out of those 5. And out of those 3, I have 1 top earner, which is Kathleen, a jewel. Not because she's a diamond. She's a top earner because she's a jewel, right? She's made it to the top of the company. She's made it to the tip top of the company. But so does that mean that I don't have any other rock stars? Does that mean that any of those other 36 or any of those other 5 even are not rock stars? No, it does not mean that one single bit. It just means that they're working at a different pace. That's all it means. So the bottom line is, though, is that the majority, like the majority of my organization is tied to just a few people, like Sarah said, right? And the thing is, we don't know who those people are going to be. We have no idea. I had no idea. Like Kathleen and I were just acquaintances. I had no clue when she joined that she was going to take her business to the top, that she was going to sign people that took it to the top. I had no clue. So you don't know who your top earners are going to be until they actually succeed. So whether or not you are going to be a top earner, that's up to you. And it's easy to blame your upline. It's easy to blame your downline, but really it's up to you. So let's go back and let's talk about you. And let's talk about what's motivating you. So, we have a lot of giveaways on our team, right? We give away, I don't know, we're always having a raffle for something. We just had our 12 days of Christmas, and I feel like we're giving a lot of stuff. Do we not? I'll throw I can't remember exactly everything we do, but I know we've given away spades and hats and gift cards and product. We've given away money. We've given away Ray-Ban sunglasses and all that stuff. So what is your motivation?
I can't hear you anymore.
You can't hear me?
Well, you're kind of fading out.
Is that better?
Yeah, I don't know. It keeps going in and out.
All right. So what is your motivation? Is it a pair of Kendra Scott earrings? Is it a planner? Is your motivation a t-shirt or a water bottle or a free product? Because I'm going to be completely, totally honest with you here. And again, Val and I have had this conversation. I cannot tell you how many times.
A lot.
But if your motivation is a t-shirt or a water bottle or a pair of Kendra Scott earrings that you will someday be able to afford on your own, then we're going to tell you that is not what's going to take you to the top. When I joined, did Amy dangle some incentives in front of my face? And then back then, like I said, we were climbing the ladder together, Amy and I. So, she was throwing out Alex and Ani. She was throwing out Amazon gift cards. I remember I won $100 from her once. I won a Kate Spade bag from her. But that's awesome. I was so excited to win, but I wasn't working for a Kate Spade or $100. I was working for financial freedom.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm still working for. What, Val?
The compensation plan should be the motivation that drives you.
Yes.
I think those things are fun and exciting, and they, but it's not what a business is built on. That's, because then I see people, only work during those times that there's an incentive, which means that their belief is not there fully, and they're not working all the time, and they're not using the compensation plan as their motivation to go forward. That $sign that you wrote down in the beginning should be the motivation.
Yes, that should be your carrot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your why may be completely different than my why, or Val's why. You may be experiencing financial freedom. Money may not be, I don't know. We all have different whys, right? But when I hear my team isn't working, I offered a free bottle of X Factor, or I offered a free t-shirt, I'm going to say it again. You cannot motivate those who are unwilling to put in the work. So, but you cannot let that keep you down, right? What are we doing here? We're failing forward, right? We're swimming. We're not quitting. So if you have a team and you have 10 people on your team and you keep posting on your team page and you think people aren't watching, just keep doing it. Because one of these days you're gonna keep prospecting, right? And you're gonna keep adding. And one of these days a light bulb is gonna go off to one of those people.
So those people are ready too. And I think that's a key thing too, like that people aren't going to jump on just because you want them to jump on. They have to be ready in their time to make that decision. And I always think it's better when they are making that decision for themselves. They stay on longer. They go all in. This is what they want. So I do think that makes a huge difference. But there's people watching, whether you think there are or not. I got a message a couple weeks ago from somebody who, like, I didn't even know she was on my Facebook. Like, how bad is that? So she's obviously watching, and I had no idea.
Yeah. So, you just have to keep prospecting. That's the bottom line. Just keep going. On page 16, Sarah does talk about like how this is a numbers game. And like I said, the majority of my income comes from 3 out of 36 active ambassadors. So that's where the majority comes from. And on page 16, where she talks about the fact that, this is normal for our industry. So when you worry that, you have 5, whether you have 5 or 100 personally sponsored ambassadors, but only 1 or 2 is where your income is coming from, you need to realize that that's normal, that's okay. She goes on to tell us that 80% of our incomes are coming anywhere between 1 to 3 people. And that is completely true. Okay. What we don't know, again, is who these rock stars are going to be until they already succeed. Okay. Until they already show their true colors, that they're not quitting, that they are in this for the long haul, and that they're committed. So we don't know where we are going to find our gold until we just continue to sift through them. So the more people that you share this with, the better your odds are for finding your gold or finding your power partners, however you want to define it. So again, let's talk about placing blame, right? Lots of ambassadors, like I said, like to place blame for their inactivity on their sponsors, believe me, or on their downline, right? Like, my team isn't working. My upline is doing nothing. My upline, just decided to quit Plexus, or my upline has no idea what they're doing, or my team is just not working. I just can't motivate them. But this is a huge mistake. Okay. So don't blame your progress or your lack of success or the pace of your business on your team. Okay. So take responsibility for your activity. Never stop recruiting new customers, and never stop recruiting for new business partners, and never stop sifting for that gold. On page 17, she talks to us about how our success is directly related to the degree to which you are willing to work. She doesn't say anything about your team. She talks about the degree to which you are willing to work to find others who, like yourself, are committed to succeeding. So are you willing to hear no? Like, how many no's are you willing to hear until you strike gold? How long are you willing to dig in your backyard until you find one piece of gold? And once you find one, are you willing to keep going until you find all 3? So how many no's are you willing to hear? 100 no's before you hear a yes? Because that yes may be your gold, right? She says, and I love this, that you can give up and you can assume that this business model doesn't work, right? How many people, for myself, and I can just speak for myself and Val, because I know, the level that we're at, and I'm sure we've heard this more times than you have. But I know that you're all here, you're all in this group because you're all leaders, and you're all going to be doing what we're doing before you know it. And you are going to hear this too. People are going to quit because they're going to assume that this business model doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Right. But if you have seen success in your company, then she says, I can assure you that it does work. So we are here to tell you there are other network marketing companies out there with only a few top earners in the company. Plexus is not like that. Plexus is different. And I know so many of you are going to convention this year, and we are so, so excited to we're going to have hundreds of us there this year. Like normally there's just a handful of us. There's going to be hundreds of us there this year. And you are going to see how many people are at the top of this company. Like it's not just a handful. It's not just a handful. So anyone in Plexus can be a top earner if you are willing to put in the work and you are willing to sift through until you find your gold. So do not give up until you succeed. So that pretty much covers chapter 1. I am so excited, like I said, to just read this book again and hop on into chapter 2. I'm going to go ahead and, Val, is there anything that you want to talk about?
No, I think.
Anything you want to add?
No, I interrupted when necessary.
What did you say?
I said I interrupt when necessary.
Oh, it's okay. All right, so let's look at the chat here and see what everybody's saying in here.
I'm just going to excuse myself for 1 second. Okay.
I don't know what you said, but.
I'm going to excuse myself for a second.
Oh, go ahead. Where is the chat? How come I can't see the chat here? Everyone, chat. More? I don't know. I know that you guys have questions. You had stuff in there, and now I can't see it. So, shoot. Aw. All right, well, I'm going to unmute you guys, and we can just talk for the next few minutes before our next call. Okay, so you're all unmuted. Except for Sue. Maybe she doesn't want to be, I don't know. No, why not? Okay, so what do you got? Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Anything like that? No? Oh, oops, sad that I can't find the chat. Can you guys see the chat? And is it just me that can't see it? You can see it, Suzanne?
Yes, I can see it.
Can you tell me like one of the, Val, can you see the chat?
Yeah.
I can't see it. Wait, here's Amanda saying something.
Can you click on participants?
There's not any questions.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay.
At least I'm seeing.
Can you see everyone? I felt like I was talking. I felt like it was you. You all were talking to each other. Sorry about the echoing. I was going to say my motivation is none of those things. So good you said that. Rana says.
Yay. That's exciting to hear.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just me personally, I don't know if it's, I worked in the legal field. I'm an attorney, and I worked for years, and we would always have like the partners with sponsor, I don't know, a night out or something. And when you're in that legal world, for me, it was always, my goal was partner. Like I could care less about what they were off.
Yeah.
Like, for doing the most billable hours. And
Right.
now that I'm in this, I think people say, well, my end goal is, and trying to move up to that spot.
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, good. I'm glad that you get that. I hope that, I'm not saying it's motivating. It's definitely motivating, all of these. Oops. Am I muted? No.
No.
All these little things, that we dangle. I mean, it's fun. I'm not going to say it's not. And it, it does help to get people moving and things like that. But your motivation really should be that number that you wrote down. Because that's what's always going to keep you going, between that and your why. I mean, that and your why kind of go hand in hand, right?
I think
why
it's
you're working towards that number. So
I think it's different for the teams too, like when they're trying to get to silver. Katie Driscoll, she's my upline, my friend, and she's doing incentive this month for a purse for trying to get more of all of our teams to silver, and that's exciting them. So I think
Yeah.
it's just a level like what your goal is. It's
Mhm.
if just to get silver, get your products, it's one thing. If it's
Yeah.
higher, it's different.
Right.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, I hope that you're all going to stay on for Val and I are also going to be leading tonight's call. So hope you
See more of us.
Val, I hope that I hope you guys stay on. Go get yourself a drink or something. I'm gonna go warm up my tea. But let me stop recording here.